Donald Trump is all set to become the president of the United States, and heterosexual men in America may just end up being deprived of sex for a while. What's the connection, you ask? Well, women terribly disappointed with Trump's victory are swearing off dating men, marrying men, having sex with men, and even giving birth. This is part of what is known as the 4B feminist movement, which is now gaining a lot of traction on social media. The 4B movement originally emerged from South Korea not very long ago. It developed in protest over violence against women in the country and other manifestations of sexism, patriarchy, and inequality in South Korean society. The 4B movement gets its name from four Korean words starting with B, which means no in Korean. These words represent the movement's principles. Bihon, which means no heterosexual marriage, Bichulsong, no childbirth, Bione, no dating, Bisexu, no heterosexual relationships. The right to abortion was a major talking point in the run-up to the election. Democratic candidate Kamala Harris was pro-choice and Trump was pro-life. In 2022, the US Supreme Court had overturned the Roe v. Wade ruling, which had federally protected abortion rights in the US. The ruling now left abortion laws up to each state. This was made possible due to three conservative judges in the top court who were appointed by Trump. He quickly took credit for overturning Roe v. Wade. NBC's exit poll showed Trump received 45% of the women's vote and Harris won 53%. Harris had 42% of men votes and Trump led with 55%. Many young women on social media expressed disappointment that young men supported Trump, a candidate they feel does not respect women's bodily autonomy. Right after Trump's presidential win, young women in the US took to social media platforms like TikTok and X and urged others to be inspired by the 4B movement and join it. What made matters worse is that some Trump supporters like far-right activist Nick Fuentes began posting misogynistic messages on X such as "Your body, my choice." This phrase co-opts the feminist slogan "My body, my choice," which is traditionally used to advocate women's autonomy and reproductive rights.
Baby, if you wanted to touch my body, you should have voted for it.
I personally think that if all of these men are voting to take our rights away, they don't deserve to touch a woman for the next 4 years. So, hope you thought that through, you guys.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida. Because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan. And I'm dead fucking serious.
These women are outraged after seeing that most of their male colleagues supported Trump, a candidate found liable for sexual abuse and whose appointment of conservative Supreme Court justices helped overturn national abortion rights. But there are also women and men who support Trump and they are mocking the 4B movement on social media.
And that just leaves more conservative men for people like me, like normal women who have the same values. So yeah, so bye. Good luck with your 4B movement though. Sounds awesome. Go for it. Have fun.
I have a public service announcement to the bitches behind the 4B movement. Not one man is losing sleep over the fact that you don't want to have sex with them, that you don't want to procreate with them, you don't want to date them, and you don't want to marry them. In fact, the entire premise behind the 4B movement is a future without men. The same men that fought for our country, the same men that have built our roads, built our bridges, maintain our vehicles, truck our stuff from point A to point B. They don't want to touch you. In fact, they don't want their gene pool polluted with your left-wing nonsense bullshit ideology.
In another form of pushback, users in social media are also calling men to consider vasectomies as it can avoid unwanted pregnancies, eliminating the need to address the abortion access later. But this idea received a lot of backlash as a medical procedure like vasectomy as a social or political response is unfair and intrusive. To which many point out that this seems a lot like double standard. The irony lies in the fact that while many support the right to abortion as a matter of bodily autonomy, the idea of men opting for vasectomies is met with strong opposition. This has opened up a debate on fairness and consistency when it comes to reproductive choices. According to the Financial Times, in the US, young women between ages 18 and 30 are now 30% more liberal than young men. Some say the Me Too movement in 2018 sparked this rise in feminist beliefs among women and also the resulting backlash from young men. Now, with the rise of 4B movement, is this morphing into a I hate men campaign? Well, historically, movements led by women have often emerged in response to societal conditions that limited their rights, safety, and equality. For instance, in the 1960s and 70s, the feminist movement in the US addressed issues like reproductive rights, workplace discrimination, and domestic violence. That revolution aimed to create changes in the society rather than alienate men. The 4B movement continues this legacy of protest against perceived injustices using personal disengagement from men as a form of self-protection. It can be seen as a part of a long history of women advocating change, often in provocative ways aimed at spotlighting deep-rooted concerns, not causing alarm.